Thanks for tuning in to Steel City Football, the 4-1-2. It's a great day to be a Pittsburgh Steeler. Let's jump right in. So the Pittsburgh Steelers defeated the Cleveland Browns 23-9. They sacked Dillon Gabriel all day long. Jalen Ramsey had 2 sacks. TJ Watt had a half a sack. Alex Highsmith had a half a sack. Nick Herbig had 2 sacks for a total of 7 sacks. You could say whatever you want about the Pittsburgh Steelers defense this year, but there's one thing that they've consistently done from week 1 until now, and that is sack and pressure and harass the quarterbacks. And when you could do that on a weekly basis, only good things are going to happen for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Jalen Ramsey wasn't expected to play today, but he did, and he showed up and he was ready to play. You know, you have to compare this Steelers team to previous Steelers teams. Usually when the Pittsburgh Steelers, a Coach Tomlin Steeler team, plays an inferior team, they usually play down to the competition. They don't look enthusiastic. They seem like they're not interested in what's going on. They don't come out focused. And I don't see that anymore. I see the Pittsburgh Steelers are dialed in, ready to play football, and that could be because of Aaron Rodgers' arrival on offense and more leaders on defense with TJ Watt along with Jalen Ramsey, keeping the locker room focused on what they need to do. We all know how it goes for the Pittsburgh Steelers when they play a bad team on a short week or when they just play bad teams in general. Usually the Pittsburgh Steelers don't play well, but today they played well, and Dillon Gabriel played a good football game. He made the right decisions. He only almost turned the ball over one time. He hit the receivers that he needed to hit. The Cleveland Browns had a ton of drop passes today. David Njoku looked like he was afraid to get hit. A couple of their receivers looked like they didn't want to play football or be physical, and that cost the Cleveland Browns. I'm not here to cover the Browns. All I'm saying is a lot of people will say, oh, the Cleveland Browns are not a very good team. This win doesn't really mean that much. I completely disagree with that narrative. I like what I'm seeing from this team being coached by Coach Tomlin. Even when they play lesser teams who are not very good, they're still focused and they come out to play football. So far, to me, the Seattle Seahawks were the only real test. We have the Bengals, and then the schedule gets real with the Packers, and we're going to really see what the Pittsburgh Steelers are made of when they play the Green Bay Packers. Not trying to overlook the Bengals. A win is a win in the NFL. These are professional athletes. So the Steelers didn't have any interceptions today, but they hit Dillon Gabriel a total of 16 times. You know, Nick Herbig, he had another outstanding game. 2 total tackles, 2 solo, 2 sacks, 2 tackles for a loss, 1 pass deflection, and he hit Dillon Gabriel 4 times. And this was on a limited amount of snaps and reps. So the Pittsburgh Steelers need to reconsider who's going to get the majority of snaps on the defensive side of the ball, whether it's going to be Nick Herbig or Alex Highsmith. And I think at this point, it's a no-brainer that Nick Herbig needs to get the majority of the snaps on defense. Miles Killebrew, he looked like he tore his ACL today. It did not look good at all. Peyton Wilson played a much better football game today. 7 total tackles, 4 solo, 1 tackle for a loss. The Pittsburgh Steelers have looked better stopping the run the last 2 weeks. Patrick Queen had an excellent day. 9 total tackles, 1 solo, 1 pass deflection, but he was all over the place. And Deshaun Elliott, he comes back from injury, 12 total tackles, 4 solo, and he was laying the lumber today. He came to play. Deshaun Elliott definitely came to play football today, laying the lumber and playing a physical style of Pittsburgh Steeler football. Chris Boswell was an absolute terminator today for the Pittsburgh Steelers in the kicking game. He was 3 for 4, and the missed field goal was because he slipped and fell. His longest kick of the day was 50 yards. Extra point, he was 2 for 2. He scored a total of 11 points for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And let's save the best for last. Aaron Rodgers is absolutely sensational. He was 21 for 30, 235 yards. He averaged 7.8 yards, a pass completion, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, and a quarterback rating of 115.3. The Pittsburgh Steelers are going to go as Aaron Rodgers goes. Aaron Rodgers has been an incredible addition to the Pittsburgh Steelers. He is playing incredible football. He had one pass today that was underthrown to DK Metcalf. Should have been a touchdown. Other than that, he's been playing lights out. His decision-making, getting the ball where it needs to be. He looks like an elite talent at quarterback. If you say otherwise, you're just not watching the games. Aaron Rodgers is outstanding. Jalen Warren had 11 carries for 52 yards. He averaged 4.7 yards a carry. His longest run of the day was 11 yards. Kenneth Gainwell had 6 carries for 22 yards. He averaged 3.7 yards a carry. His longest run of the day was 10 yards. Caleb Johnson got into the mix. 6 carries for 15 yards. He averaged 2.5 yards a carry. I'm sorry, but Caleb Johnson doesn't need these carries. He doesn't need to carry. He doesn't need to take the ball away from Jalen Warren and Kenneth Gainwell. He hasn't done anything to deserve it. And as soon as he starts running the football, what do you see? You see the average yards per rush go down. Oh, let me guess. The offensive line just decided to stop blocking for Caleb Johnson. You know how I feel about Caleb Johnson. You're going to tell me he's a rookie. I have Roman Wilson vibes, and I'm going to leave it at that. DK Metcalf just being the superstar that he truly is. 4 receptions, 95 yards. He averaged 23.8 yards a catch, 1 touchdown. His longest pass reception of the day was 25 yards on 9 targets. But this was not a great day for DK Metcalf. He had a couple more passes that hit off his hands, and quite frankly, he just dropped them. As simple as that. This wasn't his best game, but he does show up, and he's an elite talent. And Aaron Rodgers and DK Metcalf are an elite combination in the NFL. They're just as good as anybody in the National Football League. Big Country Darnell Washington starts off the game with a big reception. He had 3 receptions for 62 yards. He averaged 20.7 yards a catch. His longest reception of the day was 36 yards on 5 targets. I find this remarkable. The man is 6'7" and over 300 pounds, and you're just letting him get wide open. Darnell Washington is a freak in nature. I love seeing him get more involved in the offense. And I think as time goes on with Aaron Rodgers, the timing, he is only going to get better. Jono Smith, 3 receptions, 18 yards. Kenneth Gainwell, 6 receptions for 14 yards. Connor Hayward comes up with the big touchdown grab of the day. He had 1 catch for 12 yards, and it was a touchdown. Roman Wilson, 1 catch, 12 yards. Pat Freiermuth, 1 reception, 11 yards. Hey, Pat Freiermuth, I don't know what's going on here. People could say personnel sets, this and that. If you're a stud, they're making sure they get you the football. This is the NFL. This isn't Pop Warner. This isn't college football. If you're a stud, guess what? Guess what happens? Just like with DK Metcalf. They make a plan to get you the football. And they don't make plans to get Pat Freiermuth the football. Me personally, this is just my opinion. I could be totally wrong, 1,000%. I hope that I'm wrong. When Aaron Rodgers invited all the players, the offensive players, to go to Malibu to train in the offseason, Pat Freiermuth didn't show up. And you notice during training camp, Aaron Rodgers wasn't throwing the ball Pat Freiermuth's way, and Pat's getting frustrated and doing hand gestures and cursing and jumping up and down. Maybe there's something personal behind the scenes where Aaron Rodgers doesn't want to throw him the football. Maybe he doesn't trust him. Maybe he doesn't like the way the routes. Maybe he didn't like that he didn't go to Malibu. I have no clue. But this is the one thing I do know for a fact about Pat Freiermuth. He got paid huge money, $42 million with a $12 million signing bonus, and the Pittsburgh Steelers are not even remotely trying to get him the football anymore. Pat Freiermuth has not played good football in a very long time, and Pat Freiermuth has nobody to blame but himself for the Steelers not trying to get him involved in the offense. Because I don't want to hear about, he's only getting a target. Every time his number is called for the most part, and the ball goes to him, he's been dropping passes. Doesn't look good for Pat Freiermuth whatsoever. And besides winning this game today, 23-9, you know what my favorite part of the day was with this Pittsburgh Steelers victory? That Myles Garrett didn't do anything in this football game. Let's look at Myles Garrett's stats. He had 2 total tackles, none solo. He did nothing. No quarterback hits, no pass deflections, no sacks, 0. The goose egg. And I absolutely love it because I cannot stand Myles Garrett. The Pittsburgh Steelers were excellent today. at neutralizing him. The offensive line, Troy Fontano, McCormick, the whole gang, Isaac Suimalo, everybody did an excellent job of shutting down Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett is an excellent player. He has the ability to wreck an entire offense, and I loved it that Coach Tomlin and the Pittsburgh Steelers said, it's not happening on our watch today. You are not going to win the game for the Cleveland Browns. And the Pittsburgh Steelers and the offensive line and Aaron Rodgers making quick decisions, getting the ball out of his hands, absolutely stymied and shut Myles Garrett down, and I absolutely love it. Well, as a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, you're 4-1 right now. Fine, if you look at the schedule, we haven't played the greatest competition in the world. It doesn't matter. This is the NFL. There are no freebies. There are no give-me's. We have to be happy when we're winning, and when we're losing, we have to deal with it. But we should all enjoy this victory, and we really need to we need to win every single game. But like I've said, got to beat the Bengals, and then it gets really real. We're going to see what the Pittsburgh Steelers are really made of at Acrisure Stadium on a Sunday night at 8 p.m. versus the Green Bay Packers. Once again, the Pittsburgh Steelers have defeated the Cleveland Browns 23-9. And with that being said, thanks for tuning in to Steel City Football, the 4-1-2.